few weeks ago, I set out to run my first ever 100-mile race at the Centurion South Downs Way 100, and it turned into the hardest physical endeavour I've ever undertaken. This is that story.
2, 1.
We started off in the iconic Matterley Bowl at sunrise, and you could feel the tension and the nerves in the air, knowing that we had a hot and hard day ahead.
Great. Thank you.
Well, sir, thank you.
10 miles down, and the heat of the day hasn't started yet. It's just glorious, and we're on the downs, and I can tell you, they're much more beautiful than they look on a GoPro. It's hard not to play mind games like, oh, 10 miles done, only 9 more of those to go. But I'm just trying to stay in the moment. Things are feeling good. I'm enjoying myself. And take it easy. Coming up to 20 miles. My head is starting to play tricks with me already, but feel okay. It's just such quintessential rolling British countryside. Really quite beautiful. That's 2 miles. Been struggling for a while. Just so hot.
So that was that. That was at mile 32, and really after that I was in survival mode. I was just trying to move forwards, trying to take on food and fuel, but it wasn't really going through me. The heat really got to me, and I just didn't have the energy to take any more videos. There was an aid station at mile 35. That was the worst I've ever felt in any run ever, but still I had enough energy to keep moving forwards, and I was really hoping for this up that ultra runners get. And it just never came. So the next aid station was at mile 46, so another 11 miles later, and I just got progressively worse from that penultimate aid station. So it became quite clear to me that I just needed to pull out. On days like that, it was so hot and I didn't want to do anything stupid, so I chose to live to fight another day and call it a day. Now, the reason I couldn't go on isn't probably not what you think. The heat really compounded a problem. Absolutely, the heat was an issue, but I don't think it was my primary issue. I think my primary issue was that my food and eventually even water just wouldn't pass through me. I could not get calories in, and eventually felt quite faint and delirious with that. When I think, why did that happen? I had a real dose of bad luck in the week leading up to the race, and at home we had a break-in, and I caught this guy in the middle of the night, and it was all a bit scary. On the spectrum of things, nothing bad happened, and it could have been a lot worse, but it just got to me a little bit, and I wasn't sleeping. I was waking up all through the night, and when I left to go to the race, I was worried about my family. So I just had this big ball of nerves in my gut, just because of that real piece of bad luck. I think that was what stopped my body being able to digest effectively. So although it was a real piece of bad luck, I actually think we can learn something from this, and that's that there is just such a strong link between our emotional well-being and our physical well-being. This was a really clear example of how emotionally I wasn't firing on all cylinders, and then that meant that my body couldn't perform. And this isn't just true in ultra runs and big physical events. This is just true in day-to-day life. We always have to be aware of our emotional well-being and then balance that with how much we train and try and balance our physical well-being in relationship to our emotional side. So that was just a really clear lesson. I also had another lesson, which was having not achieved what I wanted to achieve, I'm not looking back and questioning my training. I can actually put my hand on my heart and know that I followed the plan. I did what I set out to do in my training. The outcome was the outcome, didn't go my way, but I'm not regretting not working harder and not putting in more effort. So that's something I want to carry going forwards. Sometimes we get dealt a bad hand and we don't achieve what we set out to achieve, but if we know we put the work in, still it was a good journey, and I really feel that about this race. So I've dusted myself off, I'm on to the next one, and actually my next race is a 100-mile ultramarathon around a track, which I'm super curious about since reading The Rise of the Ultra Runner. In that book, he says for the first 12 hours or so, people are chatting, people are getting to know each other, but then there's this point where everyone goes quiet and you transcend from the physical hardship of it, and it almost becomes this spiritual journey. So I'm super curious about just running 402 laps around a running track and maybe going on this physical to spiritual journey, and I'll see how that goes. I'm probably not going to make a video about that because I just want to be absorbed and immersed in this experience, but I'll definitely share some posts over on Instagram. So until next time, enjoy your training and have a healthy and happy week.